Hello everyone, this is GameFrost. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at Nvidia's solution to mining back in 2018. This is the P102-100 mining card, a GPU with the same core as the GTX 1080Ti. I picked this card up on eBay for around $50. It seems like a good deal, but the question is, can it actually game? Launched in February of 2018, the Nvidia P102-100 was an interesting GPU to come by. I guess it was Nvidia's attempt to keep miners occupied from getting gaming cards, but unfortunately that didn't last long after. It had a GP102 core which is identical to the GTX 1080Ti and the Titan X. It was made to be catered for mining purposes only. So there were many features that were cut down or stripped off of its design. Most notably, the VRAM size itself is different. Instead of getting 11 GB of GDDR5X just like the standard 1080Ti, it only has 5. This GPU has been modified so hard that it is probably the slowest in the GP102 family. From the core count to the horrible PCIe 1 X4 configuration, you should keep an eye on this one later. It makes any GPU look like a gaming powerhouse from bandwidth alone. Seriously, I have never seen a GPU bottleneck so hard from its own design like that. For the rest of the specs, it is listed here and with a comparison of the GTX 1080Ti. So far, it's not looking very great for this particular card, especially when it comes down to the TDP itself. Running at a max power of 250 watts with dual 8-pin connectors, I wonder if the heatsink will sustain all of that heat. This anemic 1080Ti doesn't come with any display outputs, so in order to get any picture out of this card, I'll have to use integrated graphics. This is one of those times where an iGPU can come in handy aside from recording and troubleshooting. Being presented with the card, it comes with a generic looking cooler which makes it seem like it came from Wish or AliExpress. But the heatsink does look capable. There is no visible display outputs as I stated earlier, and there seems to be rust. After taking it apart, it seems like the heatsink has been corroded. I mean, it's a mining GPU, so it's bound to look like that compared to the used GPUs I've gotten so far. It was very dirty on the PCB, and that it took me over 30 minutes to do a bad clean job. I can't believe I messed up on the memory pads, but don't worry, the GPU VRAM didn't turn into the sun after use. I managed to check the die, and it is a legit GP102 card. After that, I used the Thermalright TF7 thermal paste, which is surprisingly good, and closed up the card. All that gunk removed was a bit nasty, but in the end, at least it looked cleaner than it has been. Before plugging up the card to the 13600K system, I had to say goodbye to the 6700 XT for a few days so I can suffer with what's going to happen next. To make the GPU work correctly for gaming, I had to find a patched Nvidia driver to install. Luckily, it was a recent one and was found on GitHub. Very nice. Downloaded the patch and the drivers and then saved it in a folder. I loaded up DDU in safe mode and removed the Adrenaline drivers, then turned off my internet. I switched my display cable to HDMI so I can connect the UHD 770 directly to the monitor. Everything ran just fine and Windows booted normally. The installation process was simple. The GitHub has easy to follow directions to get the mining cards up and running. Just have to copy the patch files and replace them in the extracted Nvidia driver files. After a restart to the PC, I opened up Nvidia control panel and set the PhysX configuration to the P102, and went to Windows graphics options to set most of the applications I would test to high performance. There was a set of issues that was present when I tried to run a game. First, it would cause a black screen accompanied by a freeze when run in full screen mode. And some of these games that I wanted to test don't even have borderless or full screen windowed to run properly, which is a bummer. Another issue was DRM. Since games nowadays need internet for verification and other garbage reasons, I decided to skip those titles because I had to turn off my internet. I did this because I worried that I may get banned from these patch drivers. Additionally, I tried to use the NVENC encoder, but it didn't work when I used it with OBS. Though it was interesting to see the GPU being utilized when OBS is on, but it was very choppy. I have a few synthetic benchmarks to show except for 3D Mark. That one doesn't work because of the full screen issue, just freezes until it closed from Task Manager. However, Geekbench 6 and Superposition ran fine. Starting off with Geekbench 6, the Vulkan result showed promising results here. With 77.3k points, it lands right in between the ARC A770M and the Quadro P6000. As for OpenCL, it managed to hit 66.5k points and sits between the RX 5700 non-XT and the RTX 3050. Not bad from a cut down 1080 Ti card, though it started to show its weakness when superposition is running. At the 1080p medium preset, the performance was noticeably poor. Running at an average of 40 FPS, it was a clear sign that this GPU was cut down to a ridiculous degree to prevent it from being a gaming card. The score was 5,348 points, and to compare that to another GPU of that level, it is equal to a GTX 1050 Ti. Talk about a downgrade to another level. I have selected 10 games for this test that actually ran on this cursed mining GPU, one of which is so abysmal in performance you'll never see it coming. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Good for the whole family.
Got a job to do, Alexios?
Family.
Got a job to do, Alexios? Oh. Αδύνατον εστί παραμένει.
まれびとの気配がするな。
予定と違うじゃないか。
霊視して神社の様子を伺え。敵の居場所や霧の発生源も特定できるはずだ。まれびとの気配がするな。
予定と違うじゃないか。
霊視して神社の様子を伺え。敵の居場所や霧の発生源も特定できるはずだ。
All units, think we have ourselves a racer here.
Okay. Yongen Jaya. This is Yongen Jaya.
How far could he have gone? far could he have gone?
Finally, the pain is over. This GPU is truly one of the GPUs of all time. I do not recommend this card to anyone, obviously, unless you mine Ethereum or something. But I'm pretty sure that the mining craze has died down significantly. These games that were tested had some pretty interesting results, and some that makes me want to throw the card in the bin. Cyberpunk 2077, for example, did pretty good under 1080p and 1440p, even if it was on the lowest settings. Because I thought it would have been the worst performing game, I was wrong, severely wrong. I cannot believe that Persona 5 out of all games is the worst one. This was an interesting video to make. I mean, owning a card without video outputs and that it was made for one specific purpose just to make a game was unique. Even though I bought the card for around $50, it was just too disappointing to use. You can get a better card for a few dollars more if you look hard enough, and get a better gaming experience and user experience without losing your mind. Thanks for watching this video, and if you made it this far, hey, you know what to do. I'll see you guys in the next video.